In a bid to bring the Naga political process back on track, Chief Minister Nipirio, Deputy Chief Minister Y. Patton and UDA Chairman T. Arziliang met Union Home Minister Amit Shah on Tuesday in New Delhi. The trio discussed ongoing negotiations on the Naga peace process besides various issues concerning the state. Nagaland Chief Minister Nipirio once again reiterates that he wants an early settlement to the Naga political issue that has been impending for a while now. The Chief Minister said that people of Nagaland are demanding a solution to the issue and his government is playing the role of a facilitator. Following expiry of the one-year deadline given by the state government on the superannuation issue, doctors under the banner of Nagaland In-Service Doctors Association to go on a 3-day mass casual leave from April 18. NIDA also reiterates its demand for 62 years as retirement age for all doctors irrespective of roles. Nagaland government on Tuesday tells before the Supreme Court of agreeing to implement 33% reservation for women in civil bodies. The state government informs the Apex Court of adopting a resolution during consultative meeting held on March 9 to go ahead with the 74th amendment giving reservation of 33% to women. North-East Students Organization urges Union Home Minister Amit Shah to withdraw the unfavorable policy of making Hindi a compulsory subject in schools up to class 10 in 8 northeastern states. NESO, the conglomeration of 8 student bodies from the region, instead calls for further upliftment of the indigenous languages of the region. Hello, you're watching English Primetime News. This is Asan. Let's have a look at the details. In a bid to bring the Naga political process back on track, Nagaland Chief Minister Nipirio, Deputy Chief Minister Y. Patton and UDA Chairman T. Arziliang met Union Home Minister Amit Shah on Tuesday in New Delhi. According to reports, the trio has discussed the ongoing negotiations on the Naga peace process besides various issues concerning the state. It has been learned that during the meeting, Union Home Minister expressed concern over negotiations not moving towards finality despite the framework agreement signed between the Centre and National Socialist Council of Nagaland (IM) back in 2015. Interestingly, the development comes days after NSC and IM once again trained its gun on confusion created by Ravi for the talks on going off track. The peace process hit a roadblock after relations between NSC and IM and then Naga interlocutor and Ravi soared in 2019 to 2020, with each blaming the other for the process getting stalled. NSC and IM has reiterated that framework agreement was clear that India and Nagaland will coexist as sovereign entities, and thus it was agreed it would have its own flag and constitution. Notably, Rio and a 15-member delegation comprising members of Nagaland Legislative Assembly are camping in New Delhi over past a few days to chalk out the roadmap for an early solution to the Naga peace process. Earlier, the Parliamentary Committee on Naga Political Issue held meetings with NSC and IM and 7 NNPGs before leaving for National Capital. With Nagaland government delegation led by Chief Minister Nipirio is camping in Delhi for resolving the Naga political issue ahead of the 2023 Assembly elections. Chief Minister Nipirio once again reiterated that he wants an early settlement to the issue that is impending for a while now. The Chief Minister said that people of Nagaland are demanding a solution to the issue and his government is playing the role of a facilitator. He further added that to bring peace and harmony to the situation, the matter needs to be resolved as soon as possible as the issue has been remained unresolved for a long time. Rio also said that state government cannot be immune to the status of the peace process, although it was not a party to it. As an elected government, his government has to do all that it can to facilitate a people's issue. Notably, the stalemate on the peace talks is over NSC and IM's insistence on a separate Naga flag and Naga constitution. For the unversed Nagas in general, want an inclusive settlement between the center and two blocks of extremist groups, the National Socialist Council of Nagaland or the Isak Muiwa faction of the NSC and compromised one bloc, while the other is a conglomerate of at least 7 outfits called the Naga National Political Groups. The NSC and IM, which declared a ceasefire in 1997, signed the framework agreement with the center in August 2015. The center signed another agreement called the Agreed Position with the NPGs 2 years later. Chief Minister Nipirio on Tuesday met Railway Minister Ashwini Y. Vaishnav and Education Minister of India Dharmendra Pradhan. Furthermore, Rio thanked Vaishnav for his assurances on improving connectivity and expanding railway network, while he also discussed several matters for the welfare of Nagaland with Dharmendra Pradhan. With the ongoing superannuation issue, Nagaland In-Service Doctors Association decides to go ahead with its proposed 3 days mass casual leave from April 18 following the expiry of the 1-year deadline given by the state government. NIDA President Dr. E. Piansutung and General Secretary D.E. Mern In Lasanlem on a press release reiterated that the association has scaled down demand for 62 years as retirement age for all doctors irrespective of clinical or administrative roles to maintain uniformity and smooth practical implementation. The Nagaland government on Tuesday told the Supreme Court it has agreed to implement 33% reservation for women in civic bodies. The state government told a bench of Justices S.K. Kaul and M. Sudresh that a resolution has been adopted in this regard at a consultative meeting held on March 9, where all the stakeholders were present. The State Council told the bench that a resolution was passed, affirmed by the Chief Minister and the others that Nagaland should go ahead with the 74th Amendment, giving reservation of 33% to women. The court had earlier banked the Nagaland government over the delay to enforce reservations for women in the state urban local bodies, saying an important aspect of gender equality seems to be getting postponed. The Northeast Students' Organization wrote a letter to Union Home Minister Amit Shah on Monday. NESO in its letter expressed its strong opposition to the proposal in the recently concluded Parliamentary Official Language Committee meeting to make Hindi compulsory till class 10 in all the 8 northeastern states. Notably, NESO is a conglomeration of 8 student bodies: All Assam Students' Union, Naga Students' Federation, All Manipur Students' Union, Tripura Students' Federation, All Arunachal Pradesh Students' Union, Garo Students' Union, Mizo, Sirlai Paul and Khasi Students' Union. NESO stated that each state in the Northeast region has its own unique and diversified languages spoken by different ethnic groups, and that indigenous language is an important marker for a community in the region. NESO opined that Hindi should remain as an optional or elective subject. NESO further urged Shah to withdraw the move and instead focus on uplifting the indigenous languages of the region. The official program of Steel Authority of India, Ministry of Steel, called Consumers Meet has been conducted on Wednesday at Little Hut, Chumukidima. The program, which began at 11:30 a.m., was chaired by NSTFDC Ministry Tribal Affairs, Government of India Director Johnny G. Rengma. Rengma highlighted that the absence of Steel Authority of India was felt for 25 years in Nagaland. Furthermore, the program was the first official function being held as the Steel Authority of India decided to revisit Nagaland. It is to be mentioned that in the past, the anti-social element or the undergrounds threatened the officials of the ministry to pay taxes, which further led to the decision of Ministry of Steel leaving Nagaland. Rengma noted that Steel Authority of India is warned by the Government of India, which cannot discriminate people of any state. Hence, to provide the good materials to Nagas, Ministry decided to restart in Nagaland. Meanwhile, the program's special guest of honor was ex-MP of Nagaland, C. Apuk Jamir. Jamir said that the Steel Authority of India, in one or the other way, has been part of the nation building right from the independence era, as it has taken a pivotal role in building up a country. On the other hand, representing consumers, prominent businessman T.K. Angami, NBCC Reverend Dr. Noksa Chiu, social entrepreneur Ren James, among others, spoke at the program. Furthermore, Pankaj Kumar also spoke on the event representing the Steel Authority of India. The program was followed by a short press conference.
We cannot conduct big function, but this is after a very long time, 25 years of Steel Authority of India, Ministry of Steel absence in Nagaland. This is the first official function because after 25 years they are revisiting Nagaland. Unfortunately, in the past, the anti-social element, so-called, we say that popularly called UGs, they have threatened our officials, Government of India officials, and they have to go back to, Guwahati and other included Calcutta and Delhi. We were getting Steel Authority of India material in the past, especially construction of house, bridges and all these things. But because our UG thought, in the best wisdom of them, I do not know, they had to tax everyone and confiscated their goods. So, but they cannot sacrifice their life because this is Government of India property. They cannot pay tax. This is not private property. And therefore, the Government of India has permitted then the Steel Authority of India to withdraw from Nagaland. So after a long gap, they are revisiting Nagaland with their products. This is a Steel Authority of India happen to be the state property, means country's national property. So they cannot discriminate any state. People of the whole country should get the facility from the Government of India. So why building or bridges should not be stable with good materials provided by the Government of India. Of course, it is not free. So after the ministry have taken decision, and then the Steel Authority of India marketing will going to start here in Nagaland. And they have already identified the stockists who will take care of the stock, give it to the consumer. And so all other things, the Steel Authority of India official who has come, the entire Northeast in charge unfortunately could not come, but he sent his marketing chief who will look after the marketing, commercial, the material given to the people of Nagaland, the construction, bridges or whatever use. So It is a great privilege for our Naga people to have received such an
Steel Authority of India, in one form or the other, has been part of this nation building right from the inception or right from the independence era.
Yes.
It has taken a pivotal role in building up the country itself. And we, as citizens, have been involved with this.
The first ever financial inclusion Mela in commemoration of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav under the aegis of Block Mission Management Unit was held on Wednesday at Whitehall in RD Block, Noklak. During the program, District Coordinator Health State Health Agency, Noklak Mono K, talked on AP PMJAY, making aware of how to register the scheme and its benefits. Furthermore, EAC headquarter Katian La, apart from her administrative talk, she encouraged all the SHC members and shared her ideas where and how to earn our own livelihoods through numerous ways. Notably, after the program, it was followed by facilitation on various programs and schemes. It is to be mentioned that there were more than 300 members present in the program.
Gift dia nishna bhabna kurigina phara sade solabole koshish koribo lage aru mohana video server age dekwa nishna jodi mohan etu understand kurigina bhal pra cholaile moi khan do communal society laga driver kan nishna hobo gari bi driver thakile jabo napara nishna tolbi mohan maiki kan SSG kan thik kam korishe bole do etu mohan steering
Nagaland State Rural Livelihood Mission, Department of Rural Development, Angchangyang Block conducted Financial Inclusion Mela at Mupung headquarter in commemoration of 75th Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav on Wednesday with special guest BDO Kam BMPP Angchangyang Mangpo Shankailam. Notably, the event was marked by sport, registration of life insurance, SHG loan application and registration of Ayushman Bharat. It is to be mentioned that the event was attended by more than 200 self-help group leaders and village-level organizations office bearers. Furthermore, during the event, Tobu branch manager, while addressing the gathering, said that
within 2 months they buy the wood. 60 days ago. Bank process for 30 days. Our insurance company to publish 30 days. Our make mistake within 2 days, 2 months for the mistake. 2 months like you process. 12 rupees here. One of the Meteorological we are getting once na pantala from the 12 rupees to na basically.
The third edition of distribution of poultry chicks was held at Indecent Farmers Market, which comes under Dimapur 2 Assembly constituency. The poultry chicks were distributed on Tuesday from 3 p.m. onwards. The distribution program was held under the theme Revitalizing Local Economy. According to the reports of Nagaland TV, the initiative was taken up by MLA Muatushi Longkamar under his manifesto to promote local economy. The first and second edition witnessed a distribution of pigs and poultry chicks. Meanwhile, the distribution began in the year 2018. Nagaland TV, while speaking with MLA Muatushi Longkamar regarding unemployed youths, the MLA stated that he has financially helped around 500 youths. However, there was no positive outcome.
Milebra first talaga election ja time de talaga manifesto de amikan economy de uplift kuribo kile koile etia Dimapur de thaka khan sob ini ifale eku kam kuribole na pare kena ase etu pra olop etu othai dibo koi kena tar promise kuri kena thakise aru promise kora nishina tar step by step kam do loi kena haise to tate livelihood laga to be most important thakise to tar etu tar laga bhabna dole 5 saal pi continue koribole thakise kintu itu koribole na pare para nai moi reason kobo first edition tar 2018 de group alak banai ke na itu colony hisab de 500 households ke murki do dice. Itu time de hole bishi dice 50-50. That was first edition. Aro gahori khan bi 100 family, 150 families ke dice duida. With feeds di thake je itu time de na. To tinika hoike na aro 2019 de continuation second edition de luise. Tati bi chicks khan 700 families ke dice murki khan. To tinika kurike na aro next year day to continue kuribo inika kurike na thaka time de unluckily pandemic to ahise itu pra moi khan 2 sal gap dibole para nai 2021.
The Army Medical Corps expedition team comprising 8 officers and 2 non-commissioned officers reached Dimapur on Wednesday, covering a distance of 100 kilometers for first half of the day from Zakama. Notably, a motorcycle expedition team of Army Medical Corps is covering 12 states, including northeastern states of India, and is visiting more than 75 Army and civil medical establishments as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, and also to commemorate the 258th Raising Day of the Army Medical Corps. It is to be mentioned that the expedition aims is to honor the frontline warriors fighting against COVID and providing critical medical support in keeping with the ethos of soldier behind soldiers. Furthermore, to express solidarity with the riders, the team was also joined by the local biker club from Tetso College. The team was welcomed by Lieutenant General R.C. Tiwari, AVSM, SM, GOC, Spear Corps, and all ranks of Rangapara Military Station. Meanwhile, the team also interacted with the medical fraternity of the station and conveyed compliments to them for doing their duty with elan as frontline workers during the pandemic time. The team conveyed its gratitude to the locals and military establishments for their encouragement. The GOC flagged off the team on their onward journey to Tezpur, Assam the same day.
Delhi, and with the aim of 75 years of independent Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav and 250th anniversary of AMC Core Day. And expedition was flagged up by the DGFMS, and this expedition under the aegis of DGMS Army. Main motto was behind this expedition is to meet the frontline workers, health workers in far-flung areas. Those are, those who are fought against the COVID war very well, and we're going to meet more than hundreds of units with civilian doctors and army doctors, frontline workers, and all the people those who work on COVID. That is the main motive behind this expedition. We are crossing near about 12 states, 7 states of Northeast and other Central India. Total covering distance 9,800 kilometers, nearly 10,000 kilometers. So far, we did near about half the expedition. We cover from
Kirima Students Union along with Veterinary Hospital Kohima organized a free anti-rabies vaccination camp at Kirima Village Council Hall on Tuesday. The vaccination camp was sponsored by Chief Veterinary Office Kohima and free vaccines were given to the pets. Veterinary surgeon Dr. Elizabeth during the camp highlighted the importance of getting pets and also spoke on the outbreak of rabies. She further mentioned that rabies is 100% preventable with vaccination. At the same time, urged upon the pet owners to vaccinate their pet dogs starting from 3 months old. Notably, altogether 68 dogs were vaccinated at the camp and vaccination cards were also issued to the beneficiaries. Nagaland Board of School Education through a notification informed that the board is scheduled to conduct the Module 2 and 3 training on school leadership program for the heads of secondary and higher secondary institutions on April 26 via offline mode. Notably, the topics for Module 2 and 3 training are creating a vision and vision for the school headed by the school leader and building a cohort of focused education to execute the plan. It is to be mentioned that the NBSC has asked leaders to confirm participation by mailing at nbscmeetings@gmail.com or by sending the details to phone number 70056848841 on or before Thursday. It may also be mentioned that the Module 1 training was held on Friday last, where 233 of the 463 heads registered attended. The oldest educational institution in Nagaland, Fazal Ali College, has been accredited with Grade A by the National Assessment and Accreditation Council. Notably, the institution has been accredited with a CGPA of 3.1 on a 7-point scale at a grade point for a period of 5 years from 12 April 2022. It is to be mentioned that the college was established in the year 1959 and is located in Mokokcho. It is also to be mentioned that there are altogether 13 departments in the college with honors offered in 12 subjects. A special feature is the introduction of functional English with assistance from the UCG since the year 2001. A $2 million approximately over rupees 15 crore project readiness financial loan has been signed between Government of India and Asian Development Bank on Tuesday for designing climate-resilient urban infrastructure, strengthening institutional capacity and improving municipal resource mobilization in 16 districts headquarter towns in Nagaland. PRF loan will help design water supply, sanitation, solid waste management and urban roads in 16 districts with climate-resilient features and improved access to poor and vulnerable. Capacity building of state agency will help augment own resource mobilization by urban local bodies to improve their readiness for implementing the ensuing project and initiating sector and institutional reforms. The signatories to the PRF for the proposed Nagaland Urban Infrastructure Development Project were Rajat Kumar Mishra, Additional Secretary, Department of Economic Affairs in the Ministry of Finance, signed for the Government of India, and Takio Konishi, Country Director of ADB's India Resident Mission, signed for ADB. After signing the agreement, Mishra stated that the facility would support key preparatory activities for the ensuing project aimed at improving urban infrastructure and services in Nagaland to help the state realize its economic potential. He said that the center was committed for development of Northeast region. Dimapur Ao Youth Organization, Foothill Ao Youth Organization and Chumukirima Ao Youth Organization presenting Dimapur, Newland and Chumukirima districts have reaffirmed to stand with 2018 December declaration by ASTD, DAYO, WATS and AKTD under 10 the undivided Dimapur district to ensure rule of law and uphold our customary law to ensure justice for its bona fide members. CALT President informed that the decision was taken at a coordination meeting of 3 bodies held on April 11, 2022. Districts. Also, all the AO entrepreneurs and business houses within the administrative jurisdiction of the Dimapur, Newland and Chumukirima districts have been requested to desist from paying tax to any group until the goal for one government is achieved, and any instance of tax collection or extortion should be brought to the notice of the aforementioned AO youth organizations, and appropriate steps will be initiated in coordination with the law enforcement agencies. The Department of Soil and Water Conservation, Government of Nagaland has designated Rungsan Lamzang, Joint Director Soil and Water Conservation, as State Nodal Officer for Meteorological related matters in view of retirement of Kiho Showi, Additional Director Soil and Water Conservation. Notably, the designated State Nodal Officer will facilitate the smooth coordination between the ICAR, KVK, IMD and the state government for providing real-time weather-related information. 13 people reportedly dead in the last 24 hours in Upper Assam due to consumption of poisonous mushrooms. Notably, Assam Medical College and Hospital Superintendent Dr. Prasanta Dihingia said all the victims of mushroom poisoning died at a hospital while undergoing treatment. Dihingia further said that 35 patients of mushroom poisoning from the Upper Assam districts of Charaidio, Dibrugarh, Shivsagar and Tinsukia were admitted at the AMCH in the last 5 days, out of which 15 patients lost their lives. He further added, saying that 4 deaths were reported on Monday, while 9 more deaths occurred on Tuesday. Reportedly, most of the victims belonged to the tea garden community. The Directorate General of Civil Aviation (DGCA) has restrained 90 pilots of Spicejet airline from operating Boeing 737 MAX aircraft after finding they were not properly trained. DGCA Director General Arun Kumar informed that the untrained pilot have to undergo training again in a proper manner on the MAX simulator to the satisfaction of DGCA, but however that does not restrict the operations of MAX aircraft. Spicejet currently operates 11 MAX aircraft and about 144 pilots are required to operate these 11 aircrafts. Of the 650 trained pilots on the MAX, 560 continue to remain available. The DGCA's move comes after a 737-800 plane operated by China Airline crashed in mountains in southern China, killing 132 people on board last month. President Vladimir Putin, on his first public address on Tuesday, stated that the peace talks with Ukraine had hit a dead end. Addressing the war in public for the first time since Russian forces retreated from northern Ukraine, Putin promised that Russia would achieve all of its noble aims in Ukraine and that the war will swirl around for longer. He also alleged that it was Kyiv derailing the peace talks by staging fake claims of Russian war crimes on Bucha and by demanding security guarantees to cover the whole of Ukraine. He further mentioned that he is absolute to win the war when asked if his operation in Ukraine would achieve its goals. Notably, he also spoke on the most important strategic conclusion, the unipolar international order, which the United States has established after the Cold War. He mentioned that the strategy was slowly breaking apart. Furthermore, Putin said Russia had no choice but to fight because it had to defend the Russian speakers of eastern Ukraine and prevent its former Soviet neighbor from becoming an anti-Russian springboard for Moscow's enemies. Toronto police has arrested the murderer of 21-year-old Indian student Kartik Vasudev, who was shot on April 7 evening at the Glen Road entrance to Sherborne TTC station in St. Jamestown on April 12. The police identified the culprit as 39-year-old Richard Jonathan Edwin, who was also charged with another homicide last Saturday. It is to be mentioned that Kartik was shot multiple times and succumbed to his injuries when he was rushed to a hospital. Kartik's father, Jitesh Vasudev, has informed that Canadian police officials has informed about the arrest. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar in his tweet expressed grief at the killing and paid condolences to the family. The much-awaited big fat Bollywood wedding of Alia Bhatt and Ranbir Kapoor is finally round the corner. The couple, along with their families and close friends, kick-started the celebrations at Kapoor's bachelor pad Vastu. It is to be mentioned that all the friends and family members, including Kareena Kapoor Khan, Karan Johar, Niti Kapoor, Mahesh Bhatt, Pooja Bhatt and others have made their presence felt at the do. The Mehendi ceremony will reportedly be followed by a Sangeet ceremony in the evening. Reportedly, the couple will tie the knot on April 14 in an intimate wedding ceremony with only 20 to 30 guests in attendance. Frank James has been named by New York Police Department as a person of interest in the Brooklyn subway shooting. Police and federal agents searched into the early hours of Wednesday for the person who set off smoke bombs and sprayed fellow passengers with gunfire aboard a New York City subway car, injuring more than 20 people. New York Police Department revealed that the accused made concerning posts on social media about homelessness, New York and Mayor Eric Adams. Police believe that James rented a U-Haul in Philadelphia and drove it to the Brooklyn. The U-Haul was found 5 miles from the scene of the shooting. Police on Tuesday evening appealed for the public's help in tracking him down, offering a $50,000 reward for information that leads to his arrest. Meanwhile, it is unclear if James was behind the shooting on Tuesday morning. However, the 62-year-old is connected to addresses in Philadelphia and Wisconsin, and police are working to determine his links to New York City. Over the past 3 years, James has made more than 450 YouTube videos ranting about racism, police brutality, homelessness in New York City, climate change, and the invasion of Ukraine. United Nations High Commissioner of Refugees has expressed concern over the closure of secondary schools for Afghan girls and their safety. The UN agency said that Afghan girls are facing restrictions on travel, work, education. Notably, in the joint statement, the envoys and the representatives have said that the type and scope of international donor assistance will depend, among other things, on the right and ability of girls to attend equal education at all levels. The joint statement further stressed that the progress towards normalized relations between the Taliban and the international community will depend mostly on Kabul's actions and delivery on commitments and obligations to the Afghan people and to the international community. Moreover, during a briefing of the diplomatic corps on April 6, Deputy Special Representative of the UN Secretary-General Meti Nutsen highlighted that the Taliban's decision to ban girls from attending secondary schools has negatively impacted the attitude of the global community towards them. The Taliban have issued a decree banning female students above grade 6 from attending their classes in schools. The girls were further told to stay home until the Islamic Emirate announces its next decision. Viewers, you are watching English Primetime News. That will be a wrap.